With Canada Day upon us, we thought it would be a good idea to go over some historical facts about the Great White North that we call home. First off, let's just go over what our country actually does. As for exports, you may be thinking that the top of the list would be bacon and maple syrup. And you are correct. No, I'm just kidding. As it is true that we love our delicious bacon and sweet syrup that we are known for, our main exports actually include things like mineral fuels, vehicles, machinery, gems and precious metals, wood, and spacecrafts, and other less interesting things. Canada is regarded as the birthplace of hockey, with the first game believed to be played in Montreal in 1870-something. As Canada is the second largest country in the world, you would think our population would be quite large, which it is on paper, coming in at over 37 million, but that actually isn't a lot when you compare it to China, which is about 37 times larger, coming in at 1.386 billion. But I guess we just like our space here in the north. Alright, let's pop out some quick facts about the country. Things you might not actually know or have never actually thought of, which is, yeah, we'll all learn something today. That'll be cool. The origin of the name Canada likely comes from the Huron Iroquois word Kanata, meaning village. In 1535, two Aboriginal youths told French explorer Jacques Cartier about the route to Kanata. They were actually referring to the village of Stadacona. Oh boy, I really hope that's right. The site of the present-day city of Quebec. For lack of another name, Cartier used the word Canada to describe not only the village, but the entire area. A quick little pop fact. Immigrants actually represent 20% of the total population. In recognition of the contribution to international humanitarian and refugee aid programs, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees awarded the Nansen Medal to the people of Canada in 1986, the first and only time that medal has been awarded to an entire nation. To Vietnamese, many still remember in 1979, the Canadian government stunned the world by introducing an unprecedented program to bring 50,000 Vietnamese boat people to Canada. Today, the Vietnamese community was the 5th largest non-European ethnic group in Canada, after Chinese, East Indian, Filipino, and Jamaican. So Canada is actually made up of 10 provinces and 3 territories, each one having its own little unique twist, altogether making what Canada is today. So in lightning round fashion, I'm just going to pop off some very unique facts about each one. Starting off our list is Ontario. Having 250,000 lakes and over 100,000 rivers, this province holds about 20% of the world's fresh water supply. Also, Yonge Street, found in Ontario, is considered as the longest street in the world, with 1,896 kilometers. Quebec has the Réseau, which is a series of interconnected office towers, hotels, shopping centers, universities, and all sorts of other things, all underground, and it's known as the largest underground city in the entire world. Newfoundland and Labrador has one of the most colorful waterfronts in the world, and it's only an hour boat ride from France. Prince Edward Island is of course the largest potato producer in all of Canada, having over 88,000 acres of potatoes grown each year. Nova Scotia had the Titanic struck an iceberg about 700 miles away from its capital, Halifax, in 1942. Survivors and victims were transported to New York City and Halifax, where there's a permanent museum to the tragedy. New Brunswick has the Bay of Fundy, which boasts the highest tides in the world. It also hosts around 15 different species of whales. Manitoba has the largest gathering of snakes in the world. Every year, tens of thousands of red-sided gardener snakes emerge from the Narcissi snake dens in Manitoba to mate. So, that's a thing that you can go see if you want. As for Nunavut, there are no highways there, Public transportation between communities is largely done by air. Some communities are accessible by snowmobile in winter. Saskatchewan receives more hours of sunlight than any other province, with 2,000 hours of rays a year. Yellowknife, the capital of the Northwest Territories, is just 3,062 kilometers away from the North Pole. Alberta came up with the term trick-or-treat, as it was coined in a newspaper zeroing in on costume pranksters in 1927. At 5,959 meters, Yukon's Mount Logan is the highest mountain in Canada and the second highest in all of North America. British Columbia has 1,030 parks and protected areas, home to more than half of Canada's wildlife and fish species. It also is the home to the 2010 Winter Olympics hosted in Vancouver, where Canada had the most gold medals out of all other countries. And that's it! Now you have some extra knowledge to help you remember why Canada is so special. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy it, remember, always hit that subscribe button. And of course,
Happy Canada Day!